Hi, my name is Darren Fredmore. I am with Core & Main. I'm the West Region Fusible Sales Manager. We are here today in St. John's, Arizona, visiting with the Grover Hill Irrigation District.
Why are we here? What are they working on? That's so exciting.
We have a 5-mile, 48-inch DR 32.5 irrigation project that we have supported them on from early on in the design stage, helping them really value engineer the project. In bend radius was a big topic of, what the HDPE pipe can and can't do, what fittings we would be required to use and not use, specifications of the material, what DR rating, what pressure rating is the system running at various points of the line. So really we got to be involved in this job early on.
Tell me specifically an example of how you helped with fusion operations.
When the jobs got started, one of our years of experience technicians, Elias, was on site. He started the job out by fusing the pipe. We had a track T1200 on site to start to fuse the lengths of pipe together, and really walked their staff through their staff had years of experience fusing pipe, but not at the 48-inch level. So we wanted to make sure before we turned it over to them that they were trained properly with the proper fusion procedures and could handle the equipment and machines on site to move along. We brought on a second machine once they did have a handle on it to increase production. Elias, even though he wasn't on site throughout the whole process, he was a resource for them and continues to be. He visits on site once every couple of months to make sure things are, in person, running smoothly, and he's the support piece for them as needed.
My name is Delwin Wengert. I am a civil engineer. I work for the Grover Hill Irrigation District. I'm the manager of the district. We just completed a 4-year project of replacing all of our ditches in the community of St. John's with pipe. We started out with regular blue irrigation pipe, PVC pipe, C900. And we started having problems with it immediately after we installed it, with leaking and not being able to take pressure surges. So on the advice of our contractor, we decided to go with HDPE pipe. We're putting in roughly 5 miles of 48-inch pipeline, and we went with the STR 35 48-inch the HDPE pipe. And the thing I like about that the most is that you can weld it up into 500 or 1,000-foot strings, and you can move it through corners and bends, and it's just much easier to work with, and it goes in fast. We put over 1,000 feet a day, and anyway, we just have had nothing but good experience with HDPE pipe.
Well, great explanation, Delwin. Out on site today, I saw that there were some pretty severe curves. Tell us about a couple of those curves that polyethylene went in.
The first big curve that we came to, we had originally thought we was going to have to put in 45-degree bends. But working with the expert from Core & Main, we decided just to bend it. So we waited till late in the afternoon, and using 3 track hose, we put the first part of the pipe in the trench to help us hold it, and then we just bent it around the corner and had no problems. We were watching carefully for any kinds of stress in the pipe, any kind of lightening in the color of the pipe, and that never occurred. And after we got through that first real hard bend, from then on we never used any of our 45s that we bought, or we had 45-degree bends and a couple 11.5-degree bends. We never have used any just because we just bend it around the curves as much as we needed to.
right, tell us who you are and what do you do?
My name is Robert Toy. I'm a civil engineer. I work for a private firm that I own.
Had you ever worked with polyethylene before?
No, never.
And how was your experience working with it?
Very, very informative. There's a lot of good information out there, a lot of good people to help. As I said, I've been an engineer for 45 years. I know enough that I am worried about the stuff that I don't know about. So there's a lot of really good information out there.
And was the Alliance for PE Pipe helpful?
Yes, absolutely. The Alliance was helpful because unlike other agencies, federal agencies we work with that had experience with it, the Alliance could give us more of an insight into the industry and what to look out for. And especially during the procurement process, when we're talking to you guys about how we're going to be ordering this pipe, we have to, again, this is under a federal grant, so we have to be very, very careful that we're not showing preferential treatment or getting one-sided advice from a provider or contractor.
What was it about this project that was cool for you, a first-time user of polyethylene pipe?
It was the ease of use. We were, there was a lot of unknowns as far as especially the curvature of it, because we were trying to follow an existing canal. And so there was a lot of information out there. We had to go digging, right? And understanding the difference between this pipe and how it has a very special type of treatment, why we require contractors with specific experience in the larger diameter. But once it went in, I mean, right now I'm really happy because they blasted through even our best, most conservative expectations as far as installation is concerned.
So this was technically, Robert, a canal conversion because we were taking an open ditch canal.
Yes, that's correct.
And using polyethylene pipe.
Yes.
What's the purpose of that? I mean, we're talking about water loss savings. How does that show up?
Well, it shows up in a lot of ways because the canal is going to have obviously evapotranspiration losses, but it's also an old pioneer irrigation canal that was built in the 1870s. It's been relined several times. You had cracking, spalling of the concrete lining, and that it resulted in a lot of seepage losses. We won't know those facts until the project reopens, but we anticipate having some really good empirical data that shows how much water was lost before and after the pipe. We're going to know that once we open it up. In the past, it would take them sometimes up to 2 weeks between the time they turn it onto the lake and between the time the water showed up in town. So we're anticipating that we're not doing the entire canal, obviously, because this is done in phases. But we anticipate that we should be able to show some significant time savings, and just those time savings alone, multiplied by the 22 CFS, should give us some really good numbers.
Do you have any advice for the first-time engineer who's using polyethylene pipe?
As a new engineer new to this process, I wanted to understand all I could, and there's just a wealth of information out there. These folks gave us a lot of free help through this. We're able to answer a lot of questions, some of the technical questions we had on this. And so I would just say, just reach out. Don't try to do it on your own.
All right. Thank you, Robert.
You bet.